by the Nigerian government, which include anti-corruption fight, promoting economic growth, and reducing poverty in the country. Lawan observed that the nation is on the path of growth, focusing on sustaining investment in all ramifications in spite of the setback caused by COVID-19. Now, towards empowering Nigerian women, tackling poverty and resuscitating the economy, the federal government has flagged off the cash transfer for rural women in Gombe State. Zara Umar Adamu reports that 2 ministers arrived the state to flag off the Women Economic Empowerment Program.
Women are enshrined as fundamental human rights in the UN Charter. To further this goal, out of the ongoing disbursement of MSME's 75 billion naira survival fund, 45% has been allocated to the female gender. An advocate of he for she is the initiator of the scheme, aimed at building the capacity of women for economic prosperity.
GIC aims to harness available resources, human, financial, and technical, to help strengthen the capacity of women in the department and equip them to empower others to unleash the economic potentials of women in the commodity and export trade subsector through impactful programs and activities.
The women are expected to benefit from the various support initiatives under the Survival Fund to add value to commodities that meet export quality.
That was Benny Adams' report on the Survival Fund of the federal government. Now, the federal government has launched the 3 digital products for the micro, small, and medium enterprises, MSMEs, to improve their sales, update skills, and enhance knowledge. The 3 digital products are Market Hub app, MSME's Digital Academy, and MSME's Equipment Exhibition Portal, which were developed by the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency, SMEDAN. The products were launched virtually, with policymakers saying the initiative will help attain excellence in the operations of MSMEs in the country. As we take the conversation on these initiatives further, the Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Miriam Katagum, joins me now to speak on the various steps targeted at making the MSME sector work for the Nigerian people. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for coming on the program.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
So a whole lot seems to be happening at the same time, from lifelines to exports and the Survival Fund. Tell us about the 3 MSMEs digital products launched just yesterday.
Thank you very much. You'll all recall that these products were launched yesterday by the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency. And the importance of MSMEs to any economy in the world cannot be overemphasized. All over the world, MSMEs are the engines of economic growth. And here in Nigeria, they contribute about 50% of the GDP. And so far from the last survey, we've had about 41.5 million MSMEs. So briefly, the 3 products, as you've indicated, the Market Hub is a one-stop online platform for people who want to come and showcase their businesses. So this provides an opportunity to exchange ideas. You register your business and you're able to have other enterprises view whatever it is that you have to offer. You also have the Digital Academy, which, as it says, is an academy. So you'll come to learn new skills. You can come and teach others the skills that you have. Others could learn from you, and then you can share knowledge. And the last one is the exhibition portal for equipment. Here, manufacturers of particularly light equipment, both locally, but particularly locally, since we're looking at local content, can come and showcase what equipment they have. Thereby, business owners can see this equipment, they can place their orders, they can follow up on issues of maintenance. So these 3 are very, the 3 portals that were launched are very important and very critical to the MSME sector at this point in time.
So what role do all this play in the new economic dimensions, talking about the digital initiatives?
Yeah, okay. Right now, the world has gone digital, and Nigeria cannot be an exception. Secondly, the COVID pandemic has forced on us to go digital. So this is a very important step that SMEDAN has taken by bringing these three different platforms, because now MSMEs have the space to showcase their work. They have a space to source for other materials. They also have a space to locate equipment and network. And this will greatly help with trade facilitation, bearing in mind that just on Wednesday, the Federal Executive Council ratified our agreement on AFCFTA. So this will give our MSMEs the platform to enable them to access eventually the African market when this comes into force on the 1st of January. So really, this is very important for the MSMEs, because they do not have the resources to physically go to places. So this platform, the three, will be very important for their businesses and for the development of MSMEs as a whole.
The Commodities Export Initiative, which was also just launched, couldn't have come at a better time with the AFCFTA takeoff in sight. What is the decentralization process to get national participation, especially by women?
First of all, the initiative that was launched yesterday, we were very happy and thankful to the various women organizations that turned up for the launch. And we got their commitment and buy-in into this process. Secondly, as I mentioned, with the AFCFTA coming on board, already in the whole of West Africa, not just Nigeria, women are great traders. They're going up and down the West Africa coast. So with the AFCFTA, we at the ministry, we thought it's very important to get our women fully empowered. We need to get them to understand how, from the point of selecting a commodity in their locality, how they can process that commodity, how they can package it, label it, taking into consideration issues of quality. And here we think of the NAFDAC registration. And then how they can take it to the point of export. So these are very important steps. But as I said, we're going to work with these women organizations. And then also next week, we have the national, not next week, I beg your pardon. First week of December, we have the National Council on Trade and Investment, which is the highest decision-making council in our sector. And it brings together all the commissioners from the various states and the FCT. So we're going to present a memorandum to them on this so that we get their buy-in. Also, we have established collaboration with a number of MDAs. So we're looking forward to working closely with the Ministry of Women Affairs, Ministry of Agric, and of course, working with the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, because we need to empower these women to also look at what are the international best practices and then to be able to take their businesses to the next level.
Right. What package is there for manufacturing and industries in this new drive for enhanced productivity? Because you mentioned the exhibition portal, and I'm particularly interested in that because many people who may be manufacturers and industry players may not players necessarily, but they may want to have something to show on their portal, but funding is an issue.
For the portal for manufacturers, it's going to provide you a platform to upload or showcase what you're producing. And then also, when you showcase that, for the end users, which are the MSMEs, they will now see the possibility. If they were doing processing a particular product in a very tedious, costly, or time-consuming manner, they will be able to see these products online. But on the wider level, within the country will be able to see what is being produced. Those that have innovations coming up, whether from the university sector or the organized private sector, these things can be showcased. So by and large, this platform should be able to reinforce the executive orders on local content. It should also be able to help us reduce the amount we spend on importation of foreign machinery. It's not to say that we will not import foreign machinery, but it's going to reduce, because at the level of MSMEs, the machinery that's required could be produced here locally. And sometimes information has a value that whatever it is you are looking for outside the country is probably being produced here. So this platform is going to bridge that gap. And then by and large, on the wider industry level, we feel that with the Nigerian Industrial Revolution Plan, whereby we're zeroing on various sectors, industry will be able to locate places where they can source their raw materials and what are the latest production technology. So these are some of the advantages that we think this platform is going to bring about to industry.
Minister, the free registration for businesses has really gotten thumbs up. However, the issue is that some businesses crashed just as quick as they take off. What are you putting in place to ensure that these ones do not fail?
Well, I think briefly, let me say a thing or two about why MSMEs crash or fail. First of all, is this lack of formalization. You have a one-person business, perhaps operating from a family, no other external partner. They don't have capacity building in terms of skills. They do not have access to credit, neither do they have access to the market. And then, of course, there's the general issue of ease of doing business, multiple taxation and levies and so on, which is why we thought that with the CAC free registration, which is targeting 250,000 hitherto unregistered businesses, we'll be able to formalize them. And in terms of knowledge and skills building, you recall His Excellency the Vice President has led teams to various MSME clinics all over the country, 26 of them so far. And during these clinics, we bring all the government agencies, about 20 plus, to come and help them with registration, with quality control, with how they can package their goods better for exports, even teaching them how to, as I said, go from commodity to the point of export and repatriation of their funds. And then, of course, the Presidential Ease of Doing Business Council, PEBEC, has been working at the federal level with agencies and also at the subnational level, trying to reduce the multiplicity of hurdles that MSMEs go through in order to run their businesses successfully.
All right,
so I think
let me cut in here. Just the last question before you go. Just tell us very quickly, after the survival fund, what next?
Well, the survival fund came about as a result of the need to cushion the effects of the COVID pandemic. So how do we keep the economy growing? How do we prevent job losses? And what we've done for the MSME Survival Fund is to put in place a very robust M&E monitoring mechanism. So my belief is that with the information we're gathering, with the lessons learned from the MSME Survival Fund, we will submit recommendations to government. And based on facts, based on these lessons learned, that will determine which way we're going next. But be it as it may, this project, what we've seen so far, the impact is going to be tremendous on business. Remember, we're targeting 1.7 million individuals and business entities. So it's going to have a huge impact. And as I said, it is based on lessons learned and actual recommendations to government that will determine what the next steps will be. But I'm sure whatever steps His Excellency will take will be steps that are in the interest of the Nigerian economy, and they're in the interest of the MSMEs. And this opportunity that's been given will be the change maker for a lot of MSMEs.
All right. Thank you very much. We've been speaking to the Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Miriam Katagun. Thank you so much for joining us on Zoom this afternoon on Business Express.
Thank you very much.
All right, we now go to the commodity market to see prices this Friday. Nasima has welcomed the decision by government to ratify the AfCFTA. The chamber, through its Director General Ayo Olukani, says it is good news and a reflection of Nigeria's commitment to fully be part of this historic trade and economic agreement. Nasima urged relevant arms of government, especially the Office of the Attorney General, to promptly prepare the necessary ratification papers to ensure rapid deposition of the Secretariat. The Chamber, as part of strategic planning and readiness, has been closely working with various stakeholders, including Afri-Exim Bank and UNECA, regarding operational issue areas such as effectiveness of the Pan-African payment and settlement system. Also, the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry has applauded approval of the AfCFTA, calling for government support for private sector, manufacturing and industrialization. In a statement issued in Abuja and signed by its president, Adetokunbo Kayode, the ACCI described the development as a major boost to trade integration among African nations. According to the chamber, the AfCFTA is a flagship project whose success will expand intra- and inter-African trade while also creating wealth to address gross inequality and poverty in Africa. Meanwhile, the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, has said the 361-kilometer East-West Road project would gulp 1 trillion naira. Akpabio, at a virtual meeting, reiterated the resolve of the ministry to give adequate consideration to ensure safety, efficiency, and economic viability of the road, as well as guarantee return on investment. A statement by the Director of Press and Public Relations to the Niger Delta Ministry, Patricia Diwotishe, pointed out that the huge cost of the construction of the road initiated under the Olusegun Obasanjo administration was due to the nature of the terrain and magnitude of the project. Nigerian stock market ends best week in recent time. Yesterday, the automated trading halt system of the exchange temporarily suspended trading for 30 minutes as the bulls got unchained and drove equities benchmark index above the 5.0% extreme volatility point, all the way to 6.23% at the close of trade. This is the highest single-day rise for 2020 as the market witnessed massive buy pressure. Stocks lost steam in early trade on Friday, and at the close of business, the NSE All-Share Index settled at 35,037.46 points after shedding 0.86%. Market capitalization trimmed to 18.308 trillion naira. 1.243 billion shares valued at 16.286 billion naira were traded in 13,433 deals. Buy pressure has continued to dominate the market, with Transcorp, Zenith, and Access Banks topping activities. On the global scene, Asia-Pacific shares dip as U.S. coronavirus cases surge. Bosede Able reports on global stock markets.
Stocks in Asia-Pacific were lower on Friday, 13th November, as coronavirus cases in the U.S. continue to surge and dimming optimism from positive vaccine news, with mainland Chinese stocks also dipping into negative territory during afternoon trade. Shanghai Composite declined 0.86% to 3,310.1. Hang Seng Index closed fractionally lower at 26,156.86, and Nikkei also shed 0.53% to close at 25,385.87. European stocks were mixed. DAX appreciated 0.12%, CAC 40 0.34%, while FTSE 100 dropped 0.33% to close at 6,318.9. US stock futures were higher early Friday as Wall Street continues to grapple with the rising number of coronavirus cases and its potential economic impact. Dow Jones Industrial Average Futures traded 119 points higher. S&P 500 Futures and Nasdaq 100 Futures also traded in positive territory. Africa stocks were mixed, with South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40, Tunisia's Tunidex, and Ghana's GSA Composite posting gains. Bosede Able, Business Express.
And on the currency market, the Japanese yen edged higher on Friday as investors crept back into the safe haven currency on concerns that successful tests of a COVID-19 vaccine may not be enough to offset the economic damage of a trying winter in Europe and the United States. Let's take a look at prevailing exchange rates this Friday. This is where we end this edition of Business Express, the last for the week. Be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on NTA's channel. You can also communicate with us on Twitter. The handle is at NTA News Now. The hashtag is BizX. Business Express returns Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. I am Muplang Dakok.
This is NTA International.
Do you know that social media is not good or bad, and that it is you who is using it that is either good or bad? Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, verify the information, and reflect before sharing it. Now, are you a good social media user? Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source for a better Nigeria.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
the best and most efficient way to avoid getting infected is through regular hygienic and sanitary practices, as well as social distancing. As individuals, we remain the greatest weapon to fight this pandemic. By washing our hands regularly with clean water and soap, disinfecting frequently used surfaces and areas, coughing into a tissue or elbow, and strictly adhering to infection prevention control measures in health facilities, we can contain this virus.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online, or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
For the sick and injured, there is nothing an individual seeks so desperately than enjoying the fuel of no pains, great appetite, and strength to do what they may have done ordinarily without anyone's assistance. One place where these issues are looked into and a strategic plan of action mapped out for the road to recovery is the hospital. However, with the emergence of the coronavirus, more and more people are running away from health facilities for the fear of contracting the virus. This is becoming worrisome as the danger of self-medication cannot be ruled out. So, on this edition of Frontiers, the focus will be handling of patients at hospitals. I am Obiageli Ugoke, and our guest is Dr. Sunday Echado, consultant physician with the Gariki Hospital, Abuja. Dr. Echado, you're welcome to Frontiers.
Thank you so very much.
We will take an excerpt to set the tone for today's discussion. The program continues shortly.
Hospital is usually the place sick people go to for consultation and drugs prescription. Today, the situation is, however, far from this reality following the fear of COVID-19. Many patients in Nigeria, like Boyi Abu and Paulina Andrew, now prefer to patronize pharmacies for their health needs.
If you go there now, they will tell you, say, the coronavirus. Meanwhile, I never have it.
So I don't want to go to the hospital because I don't want to contact the coronavirus in the hospital.
Even you have stomach pain, they will say coronavirus. So the hospital, the doctors have not even do their work to attend to people. People are dying.
Vitamin C, zinc, that is what mostly they come to look for. But some few of them came to treat malaria instead of going to the hospital because of the doctor not attending to them.
I want to say the patronage has been a little bit appreciated, but I know that we've been having the normal customer.
So they go to
pharmacies, they go to...
Dr. Obinna Oleribe considers the distractions caused by COVID-19, fear of stigmatization, and the use of hospitals as isolation centers as some factors responsible for the patronage of pharmacies instead of hospitals for medical treatment. Some doctors and health centers are also said to be rejecting patients who present non-COVID-19 cases, resulting in a mutually shared distrust, fueled by fear of the virus, which has now claimed several lives.
Yes, doctors and nurses are actually distracted by COVID, so they are working to ensure that we do not have a exploited epidemic in Nigeria. And so COVID takes priority over other common diseases like malaria and other problems.
Medical practitioners are, however, unanimous in their advice against self-medication.
Well, this COVID-19 is not an excuse not to come to the hospital. You see, doctors, when they prescribe drugs, they prescribe based on diagnosis. The other aspect is that for every patient coming to the hospital, like typically in National Hospital, people are screened for temperature.
At this very point in time, a lot of people are treating themselves on their own, and which is very wrong.
Nigeria's Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 has warned severally that health workers should attend to patients who present non-COVID-19 cases. But the fear of the noisy killer is not helping. Medical practitioners say if attitudes are not changed, many more fatalities may be recorded as people are denied or refused medical attention.
Now, the emergence of coronavirus has brought about a lot of changes in people's way of life, the way we interact, communicate, as well as the way we work. What measures have been put in place in the hospital in compliance with the new normal?
Well, thank you again for the question. In line with the guidelines provided by the NCDC and the Nigerian government, the hospital, which is a public place, of course, has made provisions for hand washing stations where every person coming into the hospital is expected to wash their hands or apply hand sanitizer. We also have a mask dispensing stations where individuals who are coming expected to wear their masks but coming without masks are provided with masks. We also encourage people to adhere to the physical or social distancing while within the hospital facility. All of this aimed at reducing the chance of transmission of the coronavirus among persons presenting at the hospital.
Now, in Nigeria and other parts of the world, there have been cases of medical personnel contracting COVID-19. We've also heard several reports of medical personnel that lost their life along the line. Now, what is being done to prevent this scenario at the Gariki Hospital?
Well, the thing is, it's a hospital, right? A place where sick people are welcome, if I may put it like that. And it is difficult to begin to segregate and say, oh, well, this person has COVID, go away, or don't come in. So we generally treat every person as though he is a potential COVID patient. And so in addition to the frequent and regular hand washing and use of face mask, face shields have also been provided for the hospital staff, which they use while attending to patients. So when you have it at the back of your mind that every person is a potential COVID patient, you're on your guard.
But sometimes we keep wondering, why is it that even with the provision of these preventive measures, medical personnel keep dying, and we keep recording increase in the cases of coronavirus. Why is it so? Is it that more needs to be done in terms of putting measures in place?
Well, yes, more needs to be done in terms of putting measures in place. That is one. Two, the healthcare personnel and everybody in general needs to be more conscious of the fact that the coronavirus is around. It is not difficult to forget to, wash your hands or apply sanitizer, and then mistakenly touch your face. These are things that can easily happen, especially when one is not used to maintaining those protocols. So yes, more needs to be done. More enlightenment, more sensitization, more provision of protective equipment. And then as individuals, we all need to consciously remember to do those things that protect us from contracting the virus.
Now, how is the hospital handling patients with known cases of disease, whether terminal or not requiring routine checks?
Now, like I said earlier, hospital is a place where sick people are welcome, right? So anyone who presents in hospital will not be turned away. Now, people who have pre-existing medical conditions, especially those who are at increased risk of having severe forms of the COVID-19. For one, we try to give them longer appointments for those that are stable. All right, so if we were seeing them monthly before now, we could give them 3-month appointments, so reducing the frequency at which they come to hospital and reducing the chances that, they may come in contact with someone, who has the COVID-19 while in the hospital. This in addition to the physical distancing which we maintain in the patient waiting area and also even within the physician's consulting room. All of this, contribute within the hospital to reduce the chance of people coming down with the COVID. However, we must also remember that apart from the hospital, within the community, there is COVID. It is spreading.
Of course, exactly.
So,
now that Nigeria is already in a
we are in that phase of
community
community transmission. Yeah, so hospital is not exactly the worst place, right? Within the community, in the markets, at social gatherings, people are getting together, and a lot of people are not observing the laid down precautions, wearing masks, hand washing and sanitizing. So it may not be in the hospital,
especially
even in the community.
When some still believe there are no coronavirus.
There is no COVID, exactly.
There is no COVID-19.
Yeah, it's still going around in the community. Yeah.
What about emergencies? How are they handled with COVID-19 in mind?
Well, yes, emergencies, we accept emergencies, of course. They present at the accident and emergency section of the hospital. The personnel working in those sections are repeatedly, advised and encouraged to observe strict compliance to the preventive measures. So wearing of masks, using face shields, frequent hand washing, and sanitizing. And of course, using more advanced protective equipment or protective gear when they are carrying out any procedure which increases the likelihood of spreading or transmitting the COVID-19.
Okay, but how do you treat other emergencies apart from COVID-19 cases? Because we've had issues of reports where people are avoiding hospital facilities with fear that they might come in contact with coronavirus patients.
Okay, now people coming into the hospital, right, don't have COVID-19 written on them, right? So you can't say this man is walking in, oh, this man has COVID-19. No, everybody has an emergency and presents in the emergency unit, right? So the healthcare worker will have to interact with this individual to determine what exactly is wrong with this person. Now, when there are features suggestive of COVID-19, you want to isolate this person, Remember, you cannot diagnose the COVID-19 without having the test done, right? And of course, there are specific places where this test is carried out. So, like I said, treat everybody like a potential COVID patient, but somebody who has specific symptoms or signs suggesting COVID-19, you now isolate this person specially within the facility. Like you say, treat everybody like a COVID-19 potential patient. Yes. That is what is scaring a lot of Nigerians away, because there is this belief right now that once you walk into the hospital, the first check they run on you is COVID-19 test, and nobody wants to be even subjected to that. The mere mention of that name alone scares people away. Well, so how is the hospital handling such people? Well, the thing is, we can only encourage everybody to have an open mind, right? So whether you come to the hospital or not, you still have the chance of contacting COVID-19. You could be in your house, somebody pays you a visit, he may be asymptomatic, right? Your friend, you have a nice time with the friend, you greet, you know, celebrate, whatever it is you do. And he goes away, then you get COVID, right? He didn't know he had. Yes. And he didn't deliberately bring it there. Yes. Yeah, and like has been said repeatedly, COVID-19, having a diagnosis of COVID-19 is not a death sentence. It is not the end of the world. And it is individuals moving around attaching some kind of stigma to having that diagnosis that gives people that impression that, oh, let me run away from here so that nobody tests me for this or makes a diagnosis of this on me. Now, whether the diagnosis is made on you or not, if you have it, you have it. And what will happen to someone who has it will still happen. Right? So generally, anyone who feels ill is encouraged to present in hospital. All right, Dr. Chado, we'll pause for a while. Okay. I'll get back to you. The program is Frontiers, and we are taking a look at handling of patients amidst COVID-19. The discussion with a consultant physician continues in a moment. It's glad to know you're still there. Let's talk about the facilities on ground to attend to some of these cases, because we see the cases of coronavirus increasing on daily basis. Now, at your hospital, are there enough bed spaces for patients? Okay, so yes, we have over a 100-bed capacity hospital. Now, our hospital is not a COVID-19 treatment center, right? So we do not treat people with confirmed COVID in Garki Hospital. Okay, I see. Are they referred? Yes. So, like I said, the diagnosis is based on these PCR tests, right? Yes. And until you have that test, you don't have the diagnosis. Okay. So if someone has symptoms suggestive of COVID, you keep the person in a holding area, an isolation, place separate from other patients, and invite the NCDC to run the test on this person. Now, if the test comes out positive, then the person is transferred to a treatment center or treatment facility. For people whose tests come out negative or have come to hospital for other conditions other than COVID, yes, like I said, more than 100 bed spaces in the hospital. Currently, the 100 spaces are not taken up, so there is still some space within the hospital. Let's talk about little children. Although the cases of COVID-19 in children is minimal, what measures are put in place to prevent them from contracting the virus or either spreading it to medical personnel in the hospital? Okay. Well, For one, it has always been that the children's clinic or the areas where children are attended to is separate from where other adults receive care in Garki Hospital. So there is a pediatric clinic separate from the adult clinics. Then, like in every other place, use of face masks, frequent hand washing, application of sanitizer, face shields when required, and then maintaining the distance, even within the consulting rooms and in the course of caring for the patients, essentially, is what is being practiced there.
But in some of these preventive measures, can it really be applied to the little children? Like, we've heard that for the little kids, there are some age grades that are not supposed to use the face mask. Can you shed more light on that? Like, from what ages is expected to use the face shield or the face mask for little children?
Well, I haven't heard, that there is an age range that shouldn't use face masks. I think it's about being able to leave the mask on the face.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, children, it's difficult to get them not to touch the mask, not to want to fiddle with it and play with it and all of that. So essentially, if the child is old enough to understand that, he should leave the mask in place for this reason, then yes, that child should be able to use a mask.
It is evident that the battle against the dreaded COVID-19 is far from being won. What is your advice to people to help flatten the curve, especially now that we are already at the stage of community transmission?
Yeah. Well, the first thing is people need to understand and accept that there is COVID-19, because as it is, a lot of people still do not believe. Right. So first of all, accept that it exists. Then obey the instructions and the guidelines provided by the NCDC, the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. There are daily briefings. Going out into a public place, you should wear a face mask. Not necessarily a surgical mask, like has been said, cloth mask will do just as well. If everybody wears one, I wear one, I protect you, you wear one, you protect me. So, everybody remains the level of spread. Right. Then, of course, frequent hand washing or use of hand sanitizer, whatever is available to the individual will do. Avoiding taking the hand to the face, touching the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. Those are the portals through which the virus finds its way into the system and causes the problems. So when your hands are not clean or you are uncertain whether they are soiled, avoid touching your face as much as possible. Avoid crowded environments, right? So whenever possible, stay away from where the crowd is. If you do not need to be outside, you don't need to go out to be in that place where you will meet up with plenty of people. Stay at home. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, yeah. Dr. Sunday Ichado. We appreciate your coming. Yeah. Thank you for that discussion. Yeah. It's really, really an eye-opening.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Like our guest, Dr. Sunday Ichado, consultant physician with the Garki Hospital, Abuja, has advised, we must continue to observe all hygiene and safety protocols to flatten the curve of COVID-19 infections in Nigeria. Thank you very much for staying with us.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide a company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. Application for iOS or Android. Intelsat 901/332.5 degrees east. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
I am there now. Are you sure this will work?
It has to. I can't miss this guy's lecture. Just keep your phone on so I can listen.
Today we're going to be discussing sleep disorder. What is the medical term for sleepwalking?
Sonambulism.
Correct.
Get free Intel to Intel calls and experience HD quality conversations every time. Intel. Live more.
Bagi is an ethnic group predominantly found in north-central Nigeria, with a population of over 10 million people. The plural name of the people is Agbagi, which is also referred to as the name and the language of Bagi people. Speakers of the dialect are loosely called Gwari by most people in Nigeria, even though they prefer to be known as Bagi. Bagi people are found in states like Niger, Kaduna, Federal Capital Territory, Nasarawa, and Kogi states. Bagi is the most populated ethnic and indigenous group in the north-central Nigeria, and their major occupation is farming and pottery. Bagi people are known to be peace-loving, transparent, and accommodating, as many people in the north are fond of saying in Hausa language, "Muyishi gwari gwari," meaning, let's do it like the Bagi or in the Bagi way, but literally meaning, let's do it transparently. The Bagi people often aspire to give life a meaning, no matter the situation in which they find themselves. The very unique thing about the Bagi people is the placing of goods on their shoulder by the women. Bagi people are friendly, peaceful, accommodating, and famous for their transparent manners.
I am one of 5 Africans. I am a Nobel Prize winner, a soccer champion, a giant of literature.
NTA.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview UK channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk. App for iOS or Android, Intelsat 901 degree east. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Naja Atutijani. Let's begin with health news. The Primary Healthcare Development Agency has confirmed some cases of yellow fever and has swung into action to address the problem. The Executive Director of the agency, Dr. Faisal Shoaib, told the Senate Committee on Primary Healthcare and Communicable Diseases when he appeared before the committee to defend the 2021 budget of the agency. John Yaku reports that the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and the National Agency for the Control of AIDS also appeared.
Yellow fever outbreak in some part of the country. Not Enugu, Bauchi, Delta, and we are still counting. I don't know, Benue, the other time they said they reported strange disease. I don't know if it may be yellow fever at the end of the day.
Within less than 24 hours after we received reports of the outbreaks of yellow fever in this state, we actually deployed our staff that are in the front line to go and investigate, working together with the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, while at the same time carrying out a rapid outbreak response with immunization of people that live in the affected communities.
While commending the agency on the total eradication of polio in the country, the committee called for surveillance against reinfections in the country. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control was urged to replicate the model of COVID-19 isolation center in Gwagwalada across the 36 states of the Federation as a permanent health response facility during emergencies. Chairman of the committee, Chukwuka Otazi, said this investment in the health sector will prepare the country to face future health emergencies.
Nigerians were used to our being reactionary. Anytime we have this issue, we run, let us get a fighting approach. Once it is over, everybody goes.
For this model, awards have been given through the Judicial project for 5 new centers about 5 months ago, but the process has just been finalized in Enugu, Lagos, Port Harcourt, Kano, and Ilorin.
The National Agency for the Control of AIDS, on its part, wants to empower people living with HIV to reduce infections in the country.
Poverty makes them vulnerable, and because of that, they engage in risky behavior.
Polio has left Nigeria. We're also expecting that in no distant time, HIV will be a thing of the past.
John Yaku, NTA News.
And on the economic scene, the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has expressed optimism about the Nigerian economy being steered onto the path of growth despite the prevailing challenges. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President of the Senate on Media and Publicity, Ola Woni, indicates that Senator Lawan spoke at the Nigeria International Monetary Fund Article 55 consultation virtual exercise, where he listed efforts being made by the Nigerian government, including the anti-corruption fight, economic growth promotion and poverty reduction in the country, observing that the nation is on the path of growth while focusing on sustaining investment in all ramifications in spite of COVID-19 setbacks. The President of the Senate says the National Assembly has been as responsive as possible in the provision of legislative support to people-oriented proposals, and says the 2021 budget currently being processed by the National Assembly is aimed at addressing the prevailing challenges, including unemployment. The federal government has flagged off the conditional cash transfer for rural women in Gombe State. Zara Umar Adamu reports that 2 ministers flagged off the Women Economic Empowerment Program.
The grant for rural women is part of President Buhari's social inclusion agenda, especially the vision of lifting 1 billion Nigerians out of poverty. It is designed to provide cash grant to vulnerable women in Nigeria with the hope that beneficiaries will make good use of the opportunity to increase their income, enhance food security, and contribute towards improving the economy.
This is an intervention that President Muhammad Buhari has approved for women to be supported so that they can earn their own livelihood.
It is a grant the President has given out to support women to uplift their businesses.
Very grateful to Mr. President for remembering Gombe people with this grant, and we pray our women will use it very well to uplift their businesses.
To the beneficiaries, the grant is life-saving considering the hardship created by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Thank you. We say thank you, sir.
And I'm very, very grateful. I'm praying for them. May God continue to protect them and open doors for them.
Receiving the ministers, Governor Inuwa Yahya lauded the federal government for coming to the aid of women in the state. 1,000 vulnerable women, including widows, are to benefit from the cash grant in Gombe State. Zara Umar Adam, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Nigeria Union of Traders Association in Ghana, NUTAG, has presented a letter requesting the Nigerian government to facilitate their evacuation from Ghana. A statement signed by the Nigerian Diaspora Commission's Public Relations Director, Gabriel Odu, indicates that a delegation led by President, National Association of Nigerian Traders, Dr. Ken Okoha, and the President of NUTAG presented the letter to the Chairman, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abikeda Birirewa, in Abuja on Wednesday on the grounds of consistent harassment, torture, and threat to life, as well as a total lockdown of their means of livelihood.
You are pushing that man to engage in other vices.
But we also know that it's very difficult to uproot what you've built for years and just say, I'm coming back, more so out of frustration of what this country has done to you. So I'm still optimistic that this can be resolved.
The NIDCAM boss further assured the traders of support from relevant authorities to return them home for further consideration and to speed up the process with strategic ministries and agencies to bring a lasting solution to the issues. Mrs. Dabiri-Arewa also said Nigeria will not hesitate to gladly and safely welcome her citizens back to the country. And more commitments are being put in place towards actualizing the Nairobi Summit on Population Development. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that Nigeria is already towing the path of sustaining greater commitment in narrowing the gaps of poor reproductive health.
Nigeria, as one of the largest population destinations in the world, is already towing the path of sustaining greater commitment in narrowing the gaps of poor reproductive and maternal health services, as streamlined in the summit resolutions after 12 months of multilateral endorsement.
When all hands are on deck, Nigeria will be able to further narrow the gap and attain the goals set with sister nations as one family.
So far, Nigeria has remained steadfast in tackling reproductive and maternal health challenges and other gender-based issues, which are the main focus of the Nairobi Summit, aimed at providing access to quality health services and assuaging plight of the vulnerables.
The National Family Planning Scale-Up Plan was recently launched, and policies on adolescent health development and gender in health at an advanced stage of completion.
United Nations Fund Population Agency laws federal government resilience and continued progress in tackling maternal issues and infant mortality and appeals for sustained funding.
Ahead of the 2030 goal, another decade we have to reaffirm ourselves to these goals. It's a decade of action, and it's a decade we must not waste.
The renewed vigor at the first anniversary of African endorsement of Nairobi Summit after 25 years journey in Ethiopia is to race to the finish line in achieving universal health coverage and quality population. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Meanwhile, accountability, selflessness and actualization of citizen-driven projects remain critical to building a vibrant and progressive nation. These are part of recommendations made at the Commonwealth Society of Nigeria's lecture on bridging the citizen-government disconnect experienced in the hijacked NSAS protest. Elizabeth Omori reports.
The aftermath of the hijacked NSAS protest no doubt took its toll on the nation's economy, even as it grapples to combat COVID-19. In order for the nation not to experience such degree of violence, concerned Nigerians under the auspices of Commonwealth Society of Nigeria are advocating youth inclusion in governance.
Let us love one another, because once we love one another, we will have each other. I shouldn't see you as Hausa and you shouldn't see me as Igbo. You don't know. I should see you as a fellow human being. I should see me as a fellow human being.
Any area you find yourself, you have to lead well. But if you lead well, the thing will be climbing step by step to the top.
Jenthan Goodluck, in his paper on good leadership, noted that for Nigeria to remain enviable among the Community of Nations, the rule of law must be respected and attention given to critical areas of human endeavor.
Until we start paying attention to education, tolerance, engaging the younger ones in the government affairs, then we get the 100% of the good leadership we are talking about.
Eradication of poverty, attainment of the 17 SDGs, and good governance formed part of the discourse. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Thank you, Elizabeth. It's time now to join Adiola in Lagos for more reports. Good evening, Adiola.
Evening, Najatu. Good to see you. Oil pipelines are critical national assets which have been threatened by the activities of vandals. The resultant effect has led to revenue losses and adversely impacted national energy security. These losses have, however, been greatly reduced with several military operations targeted at containing the situation. Dr. Oguyemi reports that the operational capacity of the Nigerian Navy has received a boost in order to achieve better results in ending vandalism.
Revenue losses resulting from vandalism and sabotage of oil installations and pipelines across the country gave rise to several military operations to check the menace. According to the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, in 2017, 249 attacks on pipelines between Atlas Cove into Ilorin were recorded, resulting in over 50% revenue loss. However, since 2019, operations such as Awatse and Kurumbe have turned the story around, increasing oil flow to these lines by 2.7 million tons of premium motor spirit.
Yes, there are still more work to be done. The incidents are still going on. The bandits changed their strategy. I'm aware that we have taken down over 2,000 structures along this right of way. There is more to be taken down. We will work with you. We'll continue to support the Operation Kurumbe and Awase to ensure that there's total elimination of losses until we bring it to the level that the industry can accept as normal losses.
The presentation of 4 Toyota Hilux and 4 Outback vehicles by the NNPC to the Nigerian Navy is to aid the operations.
All efforts, including the terrain advantages that these assets being inducted today offer, must be in place to ensure the security of pipelines and the smooth distribution of petroleum products across the country.
Flag Officer Commanding Western Naval Command had earlier unveiled new houses for its personnel at the Navy base, Ojo.
The personnel are happy, their morale is all-time high, and this has translated to a better operational efficiency.
The FOC restated the commitment of the command to deliver on its mandate. In Lagos, Dotun Oguyemi, NTA News.
Still in security, the Niger Police Force is soliciting the support of the general public in ensuring the protection of lives and national security. Assistant Inspector General of Police Zone 2 Force Headquarters, Ahmed Ilyasu, made the appeal during the investiture of patrons for the Southwest Police Community Relations Committee, PCRC. Just recently, the Assistant Inspector General of Police, Zone 2, Ahmed Ilyasu, directed officers under his command to return to work and establish a fresh start and build trust of the people they serve. That move is now followed up with the partnership between the police and the community to ensure the security and safety of Nigerians. This forum is meant to engage responsible members of the public to stand in the gap for the police in promoting community policing mechanism.
The spirit in our men has been enlivened, and God in His infinite mercy will continue to be with them. Amen. We continue to guide them. Amen. No evil shall come upon them in any way.
And give assurance of cooperation of member of the public.
AIG Zone 2 Ahmed Ilyasu said the best way to transforming policing is through collective and communal efforts.
It's a continuous effort. We are going to work tirelessly to ensure we drive that people-centric base community policing reforms that the federal government wants it to cover everywhere.
Some members of the police community relations were decorated as patrons. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News. And that's it from here, but the break beckons now, and thereafter the news continues with Niger Delta in Abuja.
A scorecard like no other. Put in place measures and initiatives principally targeted at youths, women, and the most vulnerable groups in our society. These included broad plan to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in the next 10 years, the creation of 75 billion naira National Youth Investment Fund to provide opportunities for the youths, and the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Survivor Fund, through which government is A. Paying 3-month salaries of the staff of 100,000 micro, small and medium enterprises. B. Paying for the registration of 250,000 businesses at the Corporate Affairs Commission. C. Giving a grant of of 30,000 naira to 100,000 artisans and guaranteeing market for the product of traders. These are in addition to many other initiatives such as farmer money, trader money, market money, N-Power, N-Tech, and N-Agro. These and more in spite of a recession and a global pandemic.
That social media is not good or bad, and that it is you who is using it that is either good or bad. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, verify the information, and reflect before sharing it. Now, are you a good social media user? Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source for a better Nigeria.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. Application for iOS or Android. Intelsat 901/332.5 degrees east. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
The Council of Our Fathers.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days. You probably do not know what it is.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
If you're just joining us, this is the news on NTA Nationwide. We're still talking security. Now, the dynamic nature of security challenges in this era makes it expedient for security agencies to synergize to bring perpetrators to book. The General Officer commanding 6th Division Nigerian Army, Major General Oluirefin, stated this at the opening of a 2-day workshop on interagency approach in internal security operations. Jenny Bassi reports.
How to tackle the problems of insecurity and economic sabotage which are caused by militant groups in the Niger Delta region has been one of the difficult challenges facing the federal government and the security agencies. While government continues to search for solutions to this problem, the Nigerian Army are also stepping up efforts geared towards effectively tackling the menace.
This workshop highlights the interdependency of security agencies on each other and communal enforcement as against the dangers of individualism and single service approach to solving internal security problems.
We'll focus more on the synergy that has not been strengthened for some time, though the synergy has been there. But we believe at the end of this workshop, we will attain a greater height in our own challenges in fighting crime jointly.
It is therefore through the participation of security agencies that the safety and prosperity of Nigeria and that of its citizens can be guaranteed.
The workshop will herald the commencement of exercise Crocodile Smile 6, which is an annual exercise conducted by the Nigerian Army in conjunction with other security agencies. In Port Harcourt, Jenny Bassi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, worried by the laxity in existing measures aimed at curbing a projected spike in COVID-19 infections, the World Health Organization has held a seminar for journalists in Imo State for effective sensitization. Rena Ohiri was there for NTA News.
Since the announcement of the first case of COVID-19 in Nigeria, the media has played a major role towards enlightening the public on the harmful effects of the virus and the need to adhere to preventive measures. Their duty as information disseminators, therefore, prompted this media sensitization seminar aimed at preventing distortion of information on COVID-19. The state coordinator, World Health Organization Imo State, Dr. Sebastian Oku, says media practitioners must brace up to the challenge of enlightening the public on the fact that the virus still exists, hence they need to stay safe.
And when we partner with the media, we can reach the communities more easily, which is why we have invited the media and for them to assist in mobilizing the communities.
The media has done so well in terms of sensitizing communities about what COVID is, how it can be transmitted, what they need to do when someone is infected and all of that, and how we can prevent COVID.
Some of the participants described the seminar as an eye-opener.
It will impact on my reportage that it will have to change, and those critical areas will have to be emphasized.
We learned that we should not relax thinking that COVID has gone.
We, the journalists, we should tell them that no, COVID-19 is real and is here.
With the second wave of the infection being projected by the World Health Organization, the need to play by the rules of COVID-19 has become pertinent. In Owerri, Rina Ohiri, NTA News.
And now let's join Amina in Kaduna for the next set of reports. Good evening, Amina.
Najatu, welcome to Kaduna. Going by the rapid transformation of the Nigerian Army technology hubs, the Chief of the Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai, says the days of holding the Nigerian Army to ransom by the manufacturers of armaments and other components are over. He stated this in a message to the formal inauguration of the Smart Technology Vehicle Manufacturing Plant at the Engineering Command Depot, Kaduna. Ablai Mohammed reports.
The Nigerian Army Engineering Command Depot, the heartbeat of innovation for the Nigerian Army. This is the home of the Mines Resistance Armor Vehicle and various other combat creations of the Nigerian Army in response to the marching orders of President Muhammadu Buhari to look inwards for its armaments needs.
I would like to place on record our profound gratitude to the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR.
Taking the engineering command to the next level, the Chief of Army Staff automated the engineering command depot assembly plant, turning it into a world-class vehicle and combat equipment component assembly plant, leaving the representative of the Chief of Army Staff amazed.
The Nigerian Army has set the pace. Self-sufficiency in terms of spare part is it. We're no longer going to be held ransom for anybody.
With the Engineering Command Depot assembly plant imbibing a world-class arms and logistics manufacturing approach, it is only a matter of time that the Nigerian Army becomes self-sufficient in arms manufacturing and its logistic needs. In Kaduna, Abdullahi Mohammed, NTA News.
The First Lady of Nigeria, Hajia Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, has advised women to take the issue of personal hygiene with all the seriousness it deserves for healthy living in the society. This was contained in a message to the distribution of cosmetics and sanitary pads under her pet project, Future Assured, to women in Jigawa State. Hawa Halliru Haruna has details.
More than 400 women, majority of whom are widows, benefited from the gesture. Items such as cosmetics and toiletries were given to help them improve on their personal hygiene. The beneficiaries thanked the First Lady and wife of Jigawa State Governor for touching their lives in times of need. Wife of the Governor, Hajia Magaji Badara Abubakar, also represented by Commissioner for Women Affairs, said items distributed will cushion the effect of COVID-19 suffered by the women folk, appreciating the Future Assured program for the intervention.
For the cosmetics, this is the first time, but we have been distributing a lot. We distributed tea palliatives, we distributed food palliatives, and we even distributed clothing and money. But this is the first time we are distributing cosmetics.
It could be recalled that the First Lady had recently sent in relief materials to victims of flood disaster in Jigawa State. From Dutse, Hawa Hallar Haruna, NTA News.
And that's it from Kaduna. It's back to Naja'atu in Abuja.
The counsel of our fathers.
I believe we have fought one civil war too many in this country. So those who experience it will run away from it.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
NTA News 24. A 24-hour news station brings to you news and happenings 7 days a week.
News at 10 a.m., news update at 11 and 1 p.m.
News desk at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and late evening news at 11 p.m.
Follow us on any of our platforms and keep abreast of events and current affairs within and outside our shores.
We are on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46,
Star Times channel 101 and Free TV channel 703. Join us.
My name is Nando Jamda
Muhammad
Stedita
Hussein Musa Roduna Joel Chinji Said Musa John.
I'm a carpenter. I've been doing this for more than 8 years now.
And I said that plantain na kai kimamin shekara uku.
I've been selling my tomatoes for about 10 years now, and I do it for a better Nigeria.
And I do it for a better Nigeria.
Ina wannan sana'ar lemu ne domin Nigeria ta ci gaba. Ina sa domin Nigeria ta kyau. And you can see how we are doing our small little work to make Nigeria great.
As you can see, I'm a technician and I'm doing it to help myself and to help my generation.
Ina zaune ne a plateau na business. Kuma ina yin wannan domin ci gaban ƙasar Najeriya.
For a better Nigeria. This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous, whether you do it for fun or for political gains. Real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it. This is a public service announcement from NTA.
Welcome back from Kaduna. Now let's join Lanre in Ibadan for more updates. Hello, Lanre.
Thank you, Najahatu, and welcome to Ibadan. The Osun State Judicial Panel of Inquiry on Police Brutality, Human Rights Violations, and Extrajudicial Killings receives 5 petitions as it begins sitting in Osogbo, the Osun State capital. Correspondent Joshua Ogunjide reports on the inaugural hearing.
The 5 petitions received at the inaugural sitting either had no legal representation or without petitioners on ground. All the petitions, whether with or without legal representation, were adjourned to different dates from 14th November, with hearing notices to be served both petitioners and the respondents. Chairman of the panel, retired Justice Akinlola Oladimiji, had earlier maintained that petitioners must table their grievances along with evidence based on facts.
It is the fact and evidence that you place before us that we must use to assess the injury or loss suffered by the victim in the hands of SARS in each of the cases, and the damages claimed by the petitioner or any other parties as the case may be.
Members of the public were charged not to hesitate to submit petition on any brutality or violation of their human rights suffered in the hands of police.
I want to believe that at the end of this panel, we'll be able to have a closure on whatever injustice that have been meted on our people.
The 12-man panel will be sitting on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays every week for the next 6 months, as the next hearing holds on Saturday, 14th of November, year 2020. In Oshobo, Joshua Okujide, NTA News.
The Nigerian Army is enhancing high morality and accountability of its officers and men for efficient service delivery. In line with this, some officers and men of the 2-division Nigerian Army have been sensitized on the need for proper assets declaration. Correspondent Oyeyinka Omole has the report.
It is mandatory for all public officers to make written declaration of their assets and liabilities and submit such declaration to the Code of Conduct Bureau. The Bureau says not all officers are conscious of what is required of them while making such declaration.
This workshop demonstrates and underscores the Chief of Army Staff's unwavering commitment to entrenching the culture of responsiveness, probity, prudence, and accountable responsibility in the Nigerian Army.
The officers are men from different formations under 2-division Nigerian Army were therefore enlightened.
It's purely an enlightenment exercise so that we get people's attention, those who are supposed to abide by the provisions of the Constitution. The Chief of Army Staff is so interested in this program, and so that is why they've made these provisions for us to address officers and soldiers in various formations across the country.
Some of the officers equally sought clarification to identified grey areas in the provisions of the Code of Conduct Bureau to achieve target objectives. In Ibadan, Oyeyinka Omole, NTA News.
Let's now rejoin Jatu in Abuja for continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you, Larry. Government and development partners. Government will no longer tolerate operations of illegal satellite campuses and affiliations with foreign universities which have not been accredited. This was reiterated at the inauguration of the National Standing Committee on the Evaluation of Foreign Qualifications by the Minister of Education, Adamu, which is in line with the present administration's quest to ensure that Nigerian students obtain foreign qualifications which are internationally competitive and of high academic and moral standards. The committee is set to determine the Nigerian equivalent of certificates and degrees of foreign institutions.
The outcome of the deliberations today is to meet in time and continually improve the protocol for evaluating foreign educational certificates.
The committee, headed by the Ministry's Director of Education Support Service, is to also ensure that the menace of illegal degree certificates in the country is completely eradicated. And Nigerian innovators now have another digital platform where they can harness and develop their skills in emerging technologies following the inauguration of a National Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics in Abuja by the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Pantami, from where Joseph Johnson reports.
This is the National Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics. It was constructed by the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, and equipped with state-of-the-art facilities. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Ali Pantami, and the Director General NITDA, Inua Kashifu, while inaugurating the edifice, were unanimous that the center will foster the development and practical application of emerging technologies for sustainable socio-economic development.
The center is not aimed at resolving our problems of today, but rather it is a proactive center that we try to predict what we anticipate to happen in the next 2, 3, 5 or 10 years. Sit down critically, come up with a solution to that challenge so that when the time comes up, the solution will be ready on the table.
And it is going to enable at least 5 pillars of the 8 strategic pillars of National Digital Economy Policy for Digital Nigeria.
The project, many here say, is yet another milestone towards achieving a digital Nigeria. And with the inauguration, the center, as expected, will be witnessing lots of activities. But The major focus will be on prepping Nigeria for the fourth industrial revolution, supporting young innovators in making their businesses competitive, and of course, in the long run, increase the sector's contribution to the GDP. From the National Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics in Abuja, Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
It's very exciting indeed, Joseph. Thank you. Government and development partners in Adamawa State have been applauded for the provision of rural access to mobility aimed at improving the socio-economic well-being of the people at the grassroots. Bilkisu Abubakar reports.
The low-volume manual for sustained access to rural populace, which is a document meant to provide guidelines for planning and development of rural roads, which will pave way for appropriate construction of roads and minimizing environmental adverse effects. The documents, designed by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, which is in 3 different volumes, has provided ways of improving transport conditions so as to enhance easy access of health facilities, education, and sustainable development.
This investment, we cannot afford to allow it to deteriorate faster, because the generation that is coming after us will not forgive us for not maintaining these roads.
The Commissioner of Rural Infrastructure and Community Development, Abdullahi Adamu Purambe, who stood in for Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri, says Adamawa, as an agrarian state, government will not relent in providing easy access to markets to boost agricultural productivity, which will help in alleviating poverty.
To tackle multiple challenges of rural access, government has decided to partner in construction, rehabilitation of 505-kilometer roads.
Speaker after speaker vowed to adopt all the designs of the low-volume roads manual. In Ola, Bilkisu Abubakar, NTA News.
Meanwhile, another compendium of knowledge has been added to the rich resource materials which tell the story of the Niger Delta region from inception till date. The book, entitled The Niger Delta, An Environmental Perspective, is compiled and edited by Professor Enuve Akpogoje of the University of Port Harcourt. Joy Uzo reports.
Defining the Niger Delta, its historical, environmental and cultural heritage, development challenges as well as government interventions are some of the issues 21 scholars from the University of Port Harcourt encapsulated in this 288-page book, The Niger Delta, An Environmental Perspective. Editor Professor Enuve Akpogoje says the work is a parting gift to the academia after over 40 years of active service.
To pass the knowledge that we have accumulated over the years and profile the way forward for improvement in the socio-economic and environmental quality in the Niger Delta.
The petroleum industry bill, once that is passed, a lot of these issues will be taken care of.
Vice Chancellor of the University of Port Harcourt, the book reviewer, as well as other scholars at the occasion, commended the ingenuity of the work.
And it's essentially to draw global attention to the fact, and specifically to the fact of the, if you like, the precarious nature of the environment of the Niger Delta, and the need for us to engage in some kind of conservation-based utilization of environmental resources.
Scholars and observers act on the need for all to maximize the resources of the region, with the mindset that posterity is also waiting to harness the same resources. In Port Harcourt, Joy Uzo, NTA News.
President Buhari has assented to Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act 2020 this Thursday, November 12, 2020. It repeals the Extant Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act 1991 as amended. This monumental piece of legislation is expected to enhance the soundness and resilience of the financial system for sustainable growth and development of the Nigerian economy. The BOFI Act 2020 updates the enabling law in response to developments and significant evolution in the financial sector over the last 2 decades. It will increase the appetite of banks and other financial institutions to channel much-needed credit to the real sector to support economic recovery and promote sustainable growth. In this respect, it introduces a credit tribunal to improve loan recovery and address the incidence of high non-performing loans within the financial system, which has been a key deterrent to lending by financial institutions. Furthermore, it strengthens the regulatory and supervisory framework for the financial industry and provides additional tools for managing failing institutions and systemic distress to preserve financial stability, amongst others. The Central Bank of Nigeria will hold structured engagements with stakeholders across the various sectors of the economy on critical aspects of the Act in the coming months. The enactment of the BOFI Act 2020 is a historic and significant achievement which is indicative of effective and productive collaboration between the executive and legislative arms of government. And that wonderful piece of news brings NTA Nationwide to an end. But sports lovers, I'm sure, will be happy to know that the Nigeria versus Sierra Leone African qualifier will be live on NTA. You can't beat the reach. And already our sportsman is here. Like, do you actually play sports or you just report?
That's the job we do. We talk sports. And of course, I know that you're also excited to know that Nigeria, is going to play the Super Eagles after many months out. The first time, their first competitive match this year. Yeah. But for you, Nigeria going against Sierra Leone, what are you expecting? Do you expect Nigeria to win?
Well, I'm going to go with FIFA ranking. Nigeria ranks 29th. So, and going by skills, I think Nigeria is the more superior of the two teams. So, yes, I think we're definitely going to win.
All right, so if you're going to predict the scores, what will it be for you? I know since you're supporting Nigeria, what are you predicting?
Again, I'm going to go with FIFA ranking. If you look at Sierra Leone, it's 120th on the FIFA ranking, and they've only ever reached group qualifiers twice, in 1994 and 1996. So let me go with 2-0 in favor of Nigeria.
Favor of Nigeria?
Yes.
We will know at the end of 90 minutes if you were, if you're actually right. But good one from you.
Thank you very much. So should we bet on it?
Oh, we'll think about that.
All right then. Thank you very much. And thanks for watching NTA Nationwide. It's over now to Bagi for the rest of the live reports.
All right.
This is NTA International.
Do you know that social media is not good or bad, and that it is you who is using it that is either good or bad? Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, verify the information, and reflect before sharing it. Now, are you a good social media user? Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source for a better Nigeria.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
Nigeria is blessed with rich, diverse culture and traditions. The ingenuity of our culture is such that we cannot but appreciate them. One area where some Nigerians have excelled greatly is in the arts and crafts industry. Described as an untapped treasure for national development, tourism and diversification of the economy, this is an industry waiting to be explored. Arts and craft describes a wide variety of skilled activities which involves the making of things with one's own hands. It includes the skills of making objects such as decorations, pottery, furniture, painting, among others.
Let's celebrate Africa, African arts and crafts, African arts and expo.
Importantly, the expressions of these objects created by the artists and craftsmen comes with a lot of meaning.
I want to talk more about this war boot. In 1895, this has been the war boot used by our traditional rulers and those who were behind him, seeing what the white men have been using them for without benefit. So they decided to fight for what belongs to them. So they came with this war boot. This is significant of what they used to fight with the white men to achieve what belongs to them. This is exactly how it looked like in those days. With this, they were able to face the white men and get back what belongs to them. These are cannons produced by themselves, and each time they feel that the boat is moving too fast, they will shoot this cannon. Then the boat will be at rest, or it will retrieve for a time. Then when they feel that they are going too backward, then the last one at the back, they will shoot this one. It's like a propeller, propelling them forward to go for the war. That is how they used to control the boats, the war boats. This is just signifying that initially they were not dressed like this, but we cannot capture all what they dressed on as at then. But we use this one to give samples of how they look like during the war.
In my hands, I have got a flagship product of Dajo pottery. We call it Between the Deep Blue Sea and the Devil. This is the housewife's predicament. Why? In the rural African setting, the women will raise up early morning, grab their pots, and go to the water hole to fetch water, drinking water, before the advent of boreholes and tube wells and pipe-borne water. So they will go fetching this water and bringing it to our habitations. And you know, being a tropical climate we have, there are several reptiles, especially the lizards. They always find themselves in our habitation. And the lizard, on putting this water pot, the lizard will crawl down and want to have the sip. Sometimes they will fall inside, contaminating the water. And the woman, the housewife, will look at it with animosity, will grab anything and want to throw at it. In the process, she will break the pot and lose the water, and end up not even killing the lizard. But if she will let it alone, the lizard will definitely go inside and contaminate the water. So you are caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. That's the dilemma of the housewife. The Hausas call it gadangere bakin turu, nka keshi daka keshi turu, nka beri zai batarua. So I have used that to produce a verse that will tell the story of this experience. And this is 100% Nigerian clay.
As a result of the importance of this industry and the fact that it can attract a lot of investment into the country, government has continued to support the industry by using the avenue of expo and exhibitions to create an opportunity for interventions, exchange of ideas, networking, and many more among these creative minds. By and large, while potentials and skilled artists and craftsmen abound in Nigeria, there is no gainsaying the fact that the industry still needs government support, intervention as well as investment so as to be able to give fillip to the diversification of the economy. African Arts and Craft Exhibition 2017, AFAC, was meant to address this by showcasing the arts and craft industry as a veritable alternative to oil and gas industry.
You see, I'd like to tell us this here today that if you sell a barrel of oil, 2-3 families will enjoy it. But if you give 200,000 to this sector, so many creative people will be discovered, and crime will reduce in our society. Our country will be better for it. We empower our people. I want to plead with all of us that the time has come for us to key into culture so that our story can change for the best in this country.
With the quality of exhibitions on display, as well as the numbers of exhibitors from various African countries and tourists who visited, Nigeria seems to be ready to tap into the arts and crafts industry as we look inward to the diversification of our economy.
For now, the best and most efficient way to avoid getting infected is through regular hygienic and sanitary practices, as well as social distancing. As individuals, we remain the greatest weapon to fight this pandemic. By washing our hands regularly with clean water and soap, disinfecting frequently used surfaces and areas, coughing into a tissue or elbow, and strictly adhering to infection prevention control measures in health facilities, we can contain this virus. You can
The people of Igbaroke were filled with joy, love, and happiness, and they came in their multitude with lots of excitement to show solidarity and cheer the Olowa of Igbaroke Kingdom when he returned with bountiful harvests of new yam from Igbo Idashu.
We have stepped up the form of celebration. Judicial Festival has been one of those things that I feel we should thank God for bringing it into our life, because it's just like putting a bite of a little bite of yam inside the soil, and it brings you a big tuber of yam. So it's something we need to celebrate. It's something we need to thank God for it. Judicial has been the main festival that has been celebrated in ages, in those days by our forefathers.
The way Akabiesi package it and give it more glamour and showcase certain cultural activities that we have to the world, you understand, has made many home and abroad to really participate in this Yam Festival.
The uniqueness of the New Yam Festival in Igbaroke is the royal procession led by His Royal Majesty Oba Dr. Francis Adefarakanmi Agbede Ogidi III, from the farm through Iloro to Oja Obada, then Ayetoro to the palace of Olowa of Igbaroke Kingdom.
You need to let the people know that as a leader, you have to show a good example that I appreciate God for what God has done. Then the people will follow. They will not just think that it's just something I can send people to go to the farm and bring and start eating. We should appreciate God by doing it, because by going to the farm, doing that myself, it shows that, well, telling God that, well, I appreciate you, so that He can give my people, myself and my people, more bountiful harvest every year.
During the time of New Yam Festival, the Oshoma of Igbaroke will have to send a message, a mystery to the Olowa of Igbaroke to let him know that it's time for the New Yam Festival.
The new yam is cooked, roasted and pounded in the evening at the palace.
The Olori of Ogidi, they have part to play in the Yam Festival. They will follow me to the farm. They will not leave it for me alone. They will join me to go to the farm together to follow our husband.
The Judicial Festival is getting bigger and better. The indigenes of Igbaroke Kingdom will continue to use it not just as a platform for cultural celebration, but a medium to promote growth and development of Igbaroke Kingdom.
by Moonlight, and this edition of Taste by Moonlight is reaching you from NTA Sokoto Network Center. Today, I have for you two interesting stories. Our first story is titled The Tyrant King. The Tyrant King is about a king called Danladi. Danladi was so wealthy, powerful, and arrogant. Due to uncontrolled power, instead of sitting on his royal stool, he decided to make the men in the village take it in turn to come to his palace for him to sit on their backs. This attitude of his got Den Asebe so angry that he decided and promised that he was going to deal with him.
In my life, I have never heard of a king as arrogant and cruel as our king. Now, do you know that all over the village, people are talking about his arrogance and cruelty? Really? It's because of his attitude that are unbearable to everybody. One day is one day. How about this? How want to make that? Yes. So go. Look it up. There's one problem that I put. See, you see? Okay, so this is the new land. This is the new land I told you that I was. And I'm now start harvesting it. Okay, what about these cows now? The cows is just one that were given by the those who that came. Okay, look at them. Is it as sweet as this one? It's very, very sweet as this one. All right. Very sweet.
Kumaga zaki ga halbi manyan kaya babban gammu. Tudu rafin gagara da kanka magani ko ba ka nuna sai da kanwa. Kikiriki mugun zakara ba gida lalace. Gidi gaba baya kura masha nonon dado na mai ro. Ba jin ka sai da wutan zuba.
Allah shi taimake ka. Allah shi rama asiri. Allah ya taimake ka. Wallahi I've been going around all over the village about the tax. But wallahi villagers are complaining that the tax is too high on them. How wish, sir, you can reduce it for them.
How dare they complain? Look, whoever does not pay his own tax, definitely he will be plugged. Nonsense. Now, go house to house and make sure everyone has paid his own tax. No matter how, no matter the condition. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Go. Hey. Okay. That's it. Wonders shall never end. Musa, what is going on again? That's it. It is this our king now. Do you know that nowadays he sits on human back rather than his royal stool? What? Musa. Kai. Musa. I will lie what you get. Let me tell you one thing. If the king dares tries that with me, wallahi. Wallahi, I will deal with him. I'm telling you this. No problem. Musa, this is wickedness. No problem. Time will tell. No problem. Let's continue our work. Let them try me. I'm sitting on a human back.
Zauna lafiya sarki. Zauna lafiya sarki. Sarki. Sarkin zamani. Zauna lafiya sarki. Sarki. Taka lafsin sarki. Zama lafiya sarki. Zama lafiya sarki. Sarki ya zauna. Sarki ya zauna. Haka lafiya. Haka sarki. Ya amsa. Amin. Amin sarki ya amsa. Amin. Amin. Amin ya amsa sarki.
Amin. I want to ask, does it mean that there is another king beside you? Where is he? Allah Shukara Manasara, I will lead you to the enclave where he called his kingdom. And it's a part of your kingdom, sir. Let me see who he is. I will deal with him. Okay, sir. I will not tolerate.
Ya amsa. Sarki ya amsa. Taka lafiya sarki. Taka lafiya sarki.
Just like you do.
What? Not in this kingdom. Wallahi baka isa ba. Wane shi? Wallahi baka isa ba. Wane shi? Kai kada ka jaga. Wane kariya wannan? Who are you? Waye iya ji da sarki? Who are you in this world? Who are you? Waye iya ja da. Wallahi baka isa ba. Gyara kimki. Kariya shi kai. Gyara. Not in this kingdom. Wallahi baka isa ba. Wane shi? Wallahi baka isa ba. Kai kada ka jaga. Waye iya ji da sarki? Who are you in this world? Who are you? Waye iya ja da. Wallahi baka isa ba. Gyara kimki. Who are you? I will deal with you. I will deal with you. I will deal with you. Yeah.
Yes, now I have achieved what I want to do. I told you that one day I will end this your tyranny. People, this will never happen again in this village.
We are very happy.
Yes.
We are very happy.
That is the end of our first story. Now, I want you to tell me, what lesson have you learned from the story I just told you? Bashiru, what lesson have you learned? Tell me.
I have learned that a clever person can save his people with wisdom. That is what the Asabe did in the story.
That's very good, Bashir. Now, who else have learned something from the story? Alilullah.
Auntie, it is no good to be a tyrant.
Yes, Alilu. King Danladi was a tyrant king. He felt because he is the king, he could do anything he liked to his subjects. So now, children, this brings us to our second story titled, You Reap What You Sow. You Reap What You Sow is about a shepherd called Kirwa. Kirwa was a very honest person. He has this attitude of, before he responds to any saying or greetings, what he says first is, you reap what you sow. This attitude of his got his neighbor, Lami. Lami not only frowned at his sayings, but acted on it.
The engine man ya tashi. Wallahi garba hayi yayi. Wallahi yayi. Ai Allah sarki garba hayi.
Good afternoon, Allah. How is today?
You reap what you sow. Kwezan bakene yawa. Good evening, Lami. You are welcome. From where are you?
I went to get firewood from the bush.
You reap what you sow. Kwezan bakene yawa.
So, let me be on my way home.
But the evening is approaching. Me too, I am going home now. Because I'm back in the hour.
It's going to be very hot. This children, I guess we're ready to go to the farm.
I'm just from the market. I decided to come and see you.
You're welcome. You're highly welcome.
Yeah, Yara. How's everybody?
Everybody is
fine.
Maraba, you're highly welcome.
I feel like seeing you today. That's why I decided to come and see you on my way home from the market.
You're welcome.
But it seems you look so sad and worried.
Yes, I am. It's about this, our useless neighbor, Malan Aladi. Wallahi, this man has this one attribute that everyone hates. Everyone around us hates it. The moment you open his mouth, the first thing that comes out is, you reap what you sow.
But why is he like that?
I don't know. Maybe somebody did something to him.
My dear sister, Sanu,
wallahi,
please take it easy, yeah?
But whatever it is, wallahi, tallahi, Lami, will make sure I deal with him.
But take it easy. Don't do anything rash, my dear friend Lami.
I will make sure I deal with him.
Oh, Allah, it's so again.
Thank you.
I have to leave.
Let's take your time.
No problem. I'm going home. Bye-bye. Thank you for the hospitality.
Good morning, Mama.
Good morning, my children. How was your night?
It was fine, Mama.
All right. Are you ready for the farm?
Yes, Mama. We are going now.
Oh, may Allah protect you for me.
Yes, Mama.
Thank you. Go well.
I'm protected.
Take care of yourself, sir.
All
I know by this evening, man and Allah is dead. I have stepped on everybody's toe.
Allah ke dai ina ji dai wallahi sai in ji ina tsuna wallahi
Good evening, Ladi the Shepherd.
You reap what you sow. Good evening, Lami. You are welcome.
Here's the food I brought for you today.
You reap what you sow. Thank you, Lami. Thank you. Thank you, Lami. Thank you, Lami.
Thank you very much, Lami.
Oh, let me take my leave.
Thank you, Lami. Thank you very much, Lami. Hey.
Very happy. In the next 3 hours, man and Aladi will be gone. I'm tired of that. What you sow is what you reap. How can you keep disturbing people? Every day, what you sow is what you reap. Your end have come.
Good evening, Mr. Daladi.
Good evening, how are you?
Please, can we get water to drink? We are thirsty and even hungry.
Oh, I just have food that your mother brought to me. I can't eat it because I'm very busy. You can eat it. Eat.
This man is very kind. This man is very kind. I've never had somebody like this. Take this juice. This Kia, I'm not expecting this.
This is you are eating with spoon. Leave it like that, Joe.
Like this. You always see unexpected. What is it?
My stomach.
Wait, your stomach?
Yes.
Is there anything? You. My own stomach too.
What happened? Salisu! Dauda! Isa! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh! Lami!
What happened to my children? What happened?
They came to me.
What on earth happened to my children, man and Aladi? I hope it's not the food I brought you that you gave them to eat.
It's only what I have now.
Oh my God!
Is that food that you brought to me?
Finished! I am finished! I am finished!
Lami, that's the food that you brought to me. You reap what you sow, Lami.
Oh my God! So it is true. Whatever you sow, you reap. I kill my children with my own bare hands. Oh my God! With my own bare hands, I killed my children.
Mariam, what lesson have you learned from the story?
I learned that we should learn to accept people the way they are.
Very good, Mariam. Very good, Mariam. That was what Lamin failed to do. She failed to accept Kirua the way he was. So she got so angry with his usual saying of you reap what you sow. Who else have learned something from the story? Farouk, tell me, what did you learn?
I learned that we should not pay evil with evil, because the evil we plan will come back to us.
Very good, Farouk. It is not good to pay evil with evil, because when we plan evil, we never can tell who the evil is going to fall at. That was the case of Lami in the drama. Little did she know that her children were going to eat that food she poisoned. So now, children, that brings us to the end of the story. Until we come your way again from NTA Sokoto Network Center, it's bye-bye. Bye-bye, children.
Bye-bye.